This is Gemara in Kesubos Daf Samachay. All the learning for this month, the month of Elul, has been generously sponsored as an incredible zchus, neshama, Fester Reyzel, Bas Meir, Mir Tashem, the learning the entire Chabura. A special day today as we conclude the fifth barak of Kesubos should bring Esther Reyzel, Bas Meir to higher in place in Gan Eden Shal Ma'ila. And we pick it up on the bottom of Samach Dalet and Beis that the Gemara quotes 4 lines on the bottom. Amar Rav Yosi. We did not stipulate Sa'irin, and the Mishnah continued with a bit of a cryptic line, only for Rabbi Yishmael near Edaim. And when we read the Mishnah, we said this is something that we're going to have to explain in the Gemara. So here we are, says the Gemara, Ela be'Edaim, hu da'achlin Sa'irin b'kul yamal lo'achli. Ask the Gemara, what exactly does this mean that they only stipulated barley in Edaim? So only in a place called Edaim is where they ate this barley and nowhere else? Explains the Gemara, Hachi Kamar. Lo pasek sa'irim kiflayim bechitin elo Rabbi Yishmael sheisach la'adam. The only place in which they had to give barley double the amount of wheat, that was only Rabbi Yishmael who was near Adam. Why? Mibnei shesa'irin adumius ra'is heim. Because the barley of Edom is very of poor, inferior quality, and that is the reason why specifically over there, they had to give double the amount of wheat. We continue by quoting the Mishnah. He has to give her a half a kav of kidneys, a half a lig of oil, a kav of dried figs. Says the Gemara, there's one obvious omission from the Mishnah. It doesn't say yayin. Explains the Gemara, Masailin the Rav Elazar, Sarayat Rav Elazar, Damar Rav Elazar, we turn over to Samachay Amid Aleph, explains Rav Elazar, Ein Poiskin Yeinois Liisha. We do not stipulate wine for a woman. Ve'im Taimar, and if you're going to ask from the pasuk that says, that I'm going to go after my lovers, those who provide bread, umimi tzamrai, and my umimai and my water, smarai, my wool, upishti, and my linen, shmani, my oil, ushikuye, and my drinks. So seemingly it hones in on the shkuye, the drinks, seemingly detailing wine. Dvarim sheisha mishtoikeges aleim. The items that the woman explains the rice of desires and loves, and it's not referring to wine. Or my new, what is that tachshitin, but not wine? Continues the Gemara, Darish Rabbi Yehuda Ishkvar Nevirai. Rabbi Yehuda, the man of the Karvirai, learned V'amila Ishkvar Nafar Chayil. Manayin Chebos Ganin Nusisha. We don't give wine to a woman. Shenam V'takim Chana Achrei Elcha B'Shiloi. And Chana got up after she had drunk in Shiloi. V'achrei Shasa. And from here we learn out Shasa V'loi Shasas. He drank, but she did not drink. Ask the Gemara, so we can make the same diuk. It seemingly seems that she ate and he did not eat. That's of course not what happened. Says the Gemara, no, hachenami. So ask the Gemara, answers the Gemara, Anan mideshani krab diburei kamrinan. The pasuk is referring to him. So mechti begava kasik. The pasuk is dealing with her Chana, and Chana got up after she ate in Shiloi. So my taima shani. So why, when it came to drinking, if it's talking about her and the feminine, why when it came to drinking did it change and all of a sudden turn into the masculine only by the man? Shmamina shasa v'loy shasas. From here we have a raya that only he drank and she did not drink. Continues the Gemara asking Meisvei, 10 lines down. The first one line is Shmamina. Ask the Gemara. It says in a brayso regila nice and law. If she's ruggle, if she's accustomed to drinking wine, says the Raisa, we have to give her wine. Answers the Gemara, you're right. Regila shiny, if she's accustomed to it, is different. Regila, if she's accustomed to it, give her 1 cup of wine. If she's not accustomed, we give her 2 cups. My kamar, says the Gemara, what? If she's, again, didn't make any sense. She's not regila, she gets 2 cups, and if she's ruggled, she gets 1 cup. It should be the opposite. So Amar Abaya, Achi Kama, regila b'fnei baila, shnei kaises. Says Abai that if she's accustomed to drinking 2 cups of wine in the presence of her husband, then she gets 2 cups. Shaloi b'fnei baila, nice like kaisecha, she only gets 1 cup. Ain't a regila, she's not accustomed b'fnei baila, l'kais echad, shlo b'fnei baila, nice like kol ikar, she does not get anything at all. Teretz number 1. Iba Yasema says another terrorist Regila Naisla Letzike Kedeira. She's accustomed to drinking wine, then we indeed give her wine to spice her pot. The daughter-in-law of the famous Nakdim Ben Gurion, the wealthy man, the Chachamim gave her on the first white line to sign Letzike Kedeira 2 saw of wine to season her pot. Erev Shabbos weekly. And Amr Lahem Kachtav Sakhinul B'Noisechem. She said, this you should give to all your daughters. Said the daughter-in-law of Nakdim Ben Gurion. Tana Shemeres Yavam Haisav Lanachrav Amein. Because she was a Shemeres Yavam, they did not answer Amein, even though it seemingly was a bracha that she's saying that they should have so much wealth. But because he didn't want to give a curse by saying that everyone else should be a Shemeres Yavam as well, therefore they did not answer Amein. And we continue with the Brisa in the second white line of Samachei Ben Aleph. Tana, we learned in the Mishnah. 1 cup of wine is good for a woman. 2 cups of wine, nivel is a disgrace. Shloisha, if she has 3 cups of wine, tavas bepeh, she verbally solicits her husband for marital relations, completely out of character for a woman to demand of her husband to go to bed with her. Arba, 4 cups of wine, afilu chamar tavas b'shok. She'll even solicit a chamar rachmana litzlan to sleep with her. Ve'enai makbedes. She does not care. She's completely drunk after the 4th cup of wine. Amar Rava, and Rava clarifies, this is only if her husband's not with her. If her husband's with her, it's no big deal. Meaning, explains Rava, that even if she's going to get drunk, even if she didn't have multiple cups of wine, we're not worried because she'll just go to her husband. The Mefarshim explained, but still we shouldn't give her 3 cups of wine because it's inappropriate even to her husband for her demand marital relations outright. Ask the Gemara 1 second, Chana, her husband was with her, so why didn't Chana get wine? Answers the Gemara, she was a guest, she wasn't in her own house. A guest is not allowed to have marital relations. And they went home, they returned to their house. Haramasa. The Yeda Elkanah is Chana, and Elkanah knew in being a nice word of saying that they were together. Chana Ishtai, V'yiskar Hashem remember them. So from here, from the pasuk, we learn out Hashtoin. Now they knew each other, Meikar Elai, but not originally. From here, we learn out that it is forbidden from one who's a guest in another's house to have marital relations. But we'll point out any time that the guest has their own room and there's no concern that they might dirty the sheets, either they have their own towel or they'll do their own linens, then there is no problem. Continues the Gemara in a similar vein, 8 lines into the wide lines of Samachem and Aleph. The first word line is Meikara. Chayma, that's person's name, the Bisu Dabaya, the widowed wife of Abaya, Asla Kamei de Rava. She came before Rava, Amra Leib, Psychli Mizaini, and she said to Rava, give me support, give me Mizainis. Pasagla, he gave her. Pasagli Chamra, she said, give me wine. Amra Leib, Yodana baby Nachmeni, Davi Shazi Chamra, I know about your wife Abaya, that he did not drink wine, so therefore you're not deserving of wine. Amra Leib, Chayi Demar Davashavile B'Shavazri. She said, no, it's not true, you're incorrect, Rava. By the life of the master, I make a shvuah that he would give me wine, and she stretched out her hands, b'shifrazi, kihai, like a goblet as large as this. She stretched out her hands wide to show how much wine her husband would give her to drink. And her sleeves rolled up, revealing her arm, and iglei dara, and what happened, her arm was revealed. Nafal nuhura b'beidina, she was so beautiful, and had a beautiful complexion, and what happened? Her skin lit up, so to say, and lit up the whole Bezdin. And come Rava got up, and Rava was aroused, and all Lebesa, he ran home, Tava Labas Rav Chisda, and he solicited, and he went to sleep with his wife. His wife was referred to the daughter of Rav Chisda, that was his wife. And Amr Lei, his wife says to him, Bas Rav Chisda, Man Havi Inna Beidina, what's going on? It was uncommon, Rava to come home in such a fury, Rava to come home and immediately go to sleep with his wife. So she said to him, what's going on? So Amr Allah, Rava responded, Chayma de Bitsu Dabai Nafka Abasra. Chayma de Bitsu Dabai, the Chayma, the ex-wife of Abaye, was the one that came into Bezdin. Nafka Abasra. So the daughter of Rav Chisda, the wife of Rava, chased after this woman, Machta La Bekufi Deshida. And what did she do? She hit her with the lock of a chest. Ad abkala mekula mechuzah, until she chased her out of the entire mechuzah. Why did she do this? Amra le, she said to Chaima, Kala l'chatz lasa, you already killed three of your husbands have already died. Va'amra, va'atzis, l'mikta achrina, and you're trying to solicit my husband, Rava, and cause him to die. We know that there's a chazaka, once a woman has 3 husbands that's died, she's not allowed to get married anymore. So Rava's wife, the daughter of Rav Chisda, chased her out of town saying, be careful not to get married again. And we continue with a similar story. The visit to Rav Yosef, the widowed wife of Rav Yosef, prayed to Rava, the son of Rava, Asli came to Rav Nechemia, prayed to Rav Yosef, came from Rav Nechemia, the son of Rav Yosef, Amr Alei, she said to him, Pasikli Mizani, give me food, Pasikla, Pasikli Chamra, give me wine, Pasikla, Amr Allah. He said to her, Yidana Bo B'nei Mechuzah Dershasi Chamra. You know why I'm giving you wine? Because I know the people of Mechuzah, they drink wine. Similar story to visit to Rav Yosef. The widow wife of Rav Yosef, Rav Nashim, and the village, like Rav Yosef, came from Rav Yosef, possibly gave her food. Possibly Chamra, give me wine, possibly give it to her. Possibly Shirai, give me silk garments. Amrullah, Shirai Lava. What do you need silk garments for? Amrullah, she responded, so that I can appear noble in front of you and your friends. She honed in on the detail that she wanted to be held in high esteem by all the chashuvei of this town. We continue in the Gemara about 8 lines to the end of the Gemara, quoting the Mishnah, the Mishnah said, what does he have to give his wife? A bed, a soft mat, a hard mat, etc. Asks the Gemara, Mapas, first word on the line, why does she need both? A soft mat and a hard mat? The Yahiv law that her wife has to give it to her. Amar Rapapa explains, it's a place they filled up the bed with ropes. Bagar law, because there were these rope beds, it was very uncomfortable. And the Bagar law would cause the woman to age due to her sleeping on such an uncomfortable bed. So we had to give her both a hard mat and a soft mat in order to make her bed something that she could sleep on. And explains the Gemara, Tanur Rabbanan Nisla Lukar B'Kassis. Says the Tanakama, the Brisa, you do not have to give her a pillow and mattress. However, Misham Rav Nasan Arber Nice Lukar B'Kassis, you have to. Asks the Gemara, I don't understand, 5 lines from the end of the Amid. Hey Chidami, what's the case? If it's common for these women to have pillows and mattresses, my time with Tanakama, you don't have to give it to her. If it's not common, my time to Rav Nasan, what's the reason Rav Nasan? You have to give it to her. So what's the case over here? Explains the Gemara, the case is where it's a custom for him and not for her. So Tanakama Savar Amar Allah, he can tell his wife, Kiyas, when I come home, Shaklinalu, I'll give it to you. Chiyas, when I leave, Misaninalu, I'm bringing it with me. Whereas Bahadeh with myself. Rav Nasan Savar, no, you have to give her her own pillow and blanket. Why? Because Amr Alei, she's in response, it's very good that you're giving me a pillow and blanket while you're here. But Zin the Misami Ben Hashmasha, there's going to be times that you come home later on the Erev Shabbos, what's the Mesa Lane, you're not going to bring home the pillow and blankets, V'shaklis, L'hol, Didi, O Magnis, Li Alara. And you're going to take mine, because since you're accustomed to pillow and mattress, if I rely upon the fact you always bring me one, sometimes you're going to come home late in the Erev Shabbos, and you're not going to have a pillow and mattress. And I, your wife, I'm going to be the one to suffer as you're going to take mine. And that is the reason why Rav Nasan holds he has to give his wife her own pillow and mattress. We continue on the last line that the Gemara quotes the Mishnah that said, he has to give her a kerchief for her head. So Amr li Rav Papa Abayis says, Rav Papa to Abayis, we turn over to Samachayim and Beis. Says Rav Papa to Abayis, Haitano shliach artaloi v'rami misanoi. Is the Tana stripped naked and wearing shoes? Ask the Gemara, I don't understand. In the Mishnah, you're giving shoes 3 times as much as clothing. What's going on? So Amar Lei responds, Tana b'makom harim koi. The Tana is in a mountainous place. Tosagi blotasa sugi misani, and therefore you need 3 pairs of shoes yearly because of the terrible walking conditions. And parenthetically, the Mishnah teaches us that when should you give her these shoes? She needs extra shoes, but when do you give it to her? You give it to her around the Yom Tov time so that she rejoices with him. And we continue quoting the Mishnah 5 lines down. He gives her clothing worth 50 zos. Amar Rabbi says about 50 zos pshiti. It means 50 simple common zos. Because if not, it's a very exorbitant price, explains the Abai. So it means 50 simple dollars. Mimai, ask the Gemara. From the fact that the Mishnah said that the case in the Mishnah is buying ani, but if they're wealthy, they have to give everything according to their wealth. So explains Abaya. V'is al kadaita chamishim zuz mamish. And if you're going to tell me it's mamish 50 zuz, ani chamishim zuz benoli, and ani never has so much money. Elash mamino chamishim zuz pshiti must be referring to 50 simple common coins, which that is what aniyim would potentially have. And we continue by quoting the Gemara 10 lines down. Chama, you don't give her the new clothing in the summer, rather you give her the new clothing in the winter. Explains the Gemara, Taner Rabbana, Meiser Mizoinais, the excess of her food, nice and the Baal goes to her husband. Meiser Blais, but her extra of her worn out clothing, Leisha she keeps. Explains the Gemara, Meiser Blais, Leisha Lamla, what does she need this extra worn out clothing for? Amar Rachva Shemzazamini do so that she uses this clothing to wear when she's a nida, and explains Rashi why, so that she does. Explains the Gemara. So she doesn't come discussing to her husband by wearing the same clothing when she's a nida and bleeding all over the place as she wears regularly. Amar Rabaya Naktinan. We have a tradition. Meiser Blais Almana Liyarshav. The Meiser Blais who worn out clothing when Almana goes to the Yarshim. Hasmuz Lo Titzkani Ba'Apeyach Titzkani V'Titzkani. Says the Gemara, over there by a married woman, we don't want her to become repulsive to her husband. That's why she keeps the extra clothing. But over here, this almana, we don't really care. She doesn't have her husband anymore. And therefore, the extra clothing goes to the kids. And Naisla Meya Kesef, and we said in the Mishnah that he has to give her a mal Kesef for extra spending money. Ask the Gemara, Maya Cheles, what does it mean that she eats with him? We've seen this already. Rav Nachman Amar Chalos Mamish Ravashi Amar Tashmish. What is this din that they eat together weekly on a Friday night? Either it means eat mamish or it means they sleep together. Tanan we learned in the Mishnah Chalos Malali Shabbos. They eat together Friday night. Bish Lamandam Rachila. I know that the Klani Acheles. I understand. Elmandamar Tashish Mayo Cheles. Why does the Mishnah use the word Acheles if it's really referring to marital relations? Explains the Gemara, the famous klal which we learned many months ago in Psachim and Daf Gimel. Actually, say years ago. It's a nice way of talking to she eats and she wipes away her mouth. And I didn't do any aver, and it's referring to one who had tashmish. So we see that we always want to talk in the most befitting way possible. So the Mishnah explains that we refer to relations as eating. Meisvei asked the Gemara Rashba says that Shimon Gamliel she eats together with him on Friday night and Shabbos day. So Shabbos. If you say that it means actually eating together, I understand what it means. They eat together on Shabbos. Do they actually sleep together on Shabbos day? I don't understand. We know the klal of Rav Huna that you're not supposed to be together with your wife and have marital relations by day. Explains the Gemara, the famous answer, Amar Rava Beisevel Mutter. If it is in a dark house, then it is mutter. And we continue by quoting the Mishnah, that if she's nursing, then she doesn't have to make so much money, but we give her extra food. Explains the Gemara in the first white line, Darish Ravula, Rabba Pescha de Venesia. Ravula the Great gave a shear at the entrance to the house of the Venesia. Even though one does not have to support his sons and daughters when they are ketanim, but he does have to support them when they're very young. Ad kama, what's this cutoff age? Ad ben sheish until they're 6 years old. Kid Ravasi, Dam Ravasi, Katan, ben sheish, Yitzeh Be'ir Rivima is able to go to Irv and his mother, because still considered an entity of the mother. Ask the Gemara, where do we know this? If she's nursing your child, she doesn't have to produce so much. We give her extra food. My time, what is the reason that we give her extra food? Is it not so that the child can eat with her? Explains the Gemara seemingly that the extra food, it's not because the husband has to obligate to support the infant, and that's why he gives extra food. No, the reason is, that's the reason he's giving extra food, because the kid is an infant, and now we're learning there's a raya that you have to support and provide food for a young child. Ask the Gemara, what do you mean? Maybe she's nursing mommy, and that's why she needs extra food, because she has the din of a chayla. Answers the Gemara, and Cain listening, the Mishnah should have then explained if she's sick, she gets the extra food. Why does the Mishnah say if she is nursing? So it must be that it goes to the child. Ask the Gemara of the Makamash, and he goes, maybe that's exactly the novelty of our Gemara. To teach me that one who is in the Meinekes, one who is nursing, is the din of a chayla itmar. Amar Vishuman Levi, Maisivin Layayin Sheyayin Yafa Lachola. Says the Gemara, we don't have a clear answer, but we conclude the paragraph, the statement of Vishuman Levi, that we give her extra wine. Why? Because wine is good for the milk. Not necessarily does this support modern day science, but that's what the Gemara says. We should return to this wonderful fifth parak of Kesubos, B'siyata Dishmaya, and now we quickly begin the new parak, the sixth parak of Kesubos. Says the Mishnah Metzia, so Isha Maisi Odela Baila, continuing the obligations, husband to wife, etc., that the Metzia, the findings of a wife, and that which she makes, the Baila goes to her husband. V'yerushasa, that which she inherits, what she inherits during their lifetime, property she inherited, the husband eats the peiros, the produce in her lifetime. V'yishasa, let's say the wife gets embarrassed, life gets hit, and therefore the person who hit her has to pay a humiliation, upagama, devaluation, shalah, that she keeps on her own. If the wound was an internal, uncovered wound, she gets 2/3 and the husband gets 1/3. But if it's an external wound, he, the husband, gets 2/3, as he himself is losing out that his wife is damaged externally. He gets the money right away. We begin one piece of Gemara in which the Gemara asks, why does the Mishnah begin and say the Metzias Isha, and now when she may go to her husband? Maika Mashlam, what's the Chiddush? Tanina. We already learned this in an earlier Mishnah a few weeks ago. That what? The father gets a Metzia and her earnings, but first the drought. And the Mishnah explained that's the father gets all that. But once she does Nisuin Yeser Love Abal, the husband gets whatever the father gets and then more. That he can eat her payers in her lifetime. That he eats her payers in her lifetime. So as the Gemara, we have a clear brayso that says that the husband gets even more than the father. One of the things that the father got was the Mitziyah Isha and the Maisiyah Del. Explains the Gemara, the Mishnah said those cases for the next day in Baishsa B'Kama Tzvichlei, for the next case are depreciation and humiliation. That is the Chiddush of the Mishnah, and Amir Tashem will pick it up for the new Gemara in the next year, B'siyata Dishmaya.